Hello viewers, welcome back to the next video. In the previous video, we had a look at creating the multiple classes and making use of export and defaults and importing the classes from the some other classes and making use of the properties. So if anybody missed the previous session, I am just mentioning the links in the description. Please go to the previous videos and look at the current video so that you can have some flow. So in this video, we're going to have a look at the state concept, which is the important concept in the React Native development. So to make use of the state concept, what I'm going to do is I'm just get rid of all these things. So I just wanted to increase my text, my count in the on the press of a button. So for this one, I'm just adding one more button with default on press method. Here we should pass and we should create a method for this one, which is, let's create button pressed. So this method has to be passed for my button, which I just created, and let's add some text for this one, which is text should be something like let me add this text. Sorry, I think what I missed. Let's cut it off for this one. Oh, this should be title, not text. Yes. So if you are maybe a doubt about what are the properties of this button, you can just follow the documentation here. It is just a simple syntax to create a button, to add a button here. Just make a use of this thing. And here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bind some value using some variable. So constructor is the initial method that automatically triggers when we this is like kind of an init method, initial method that automatically executes when this particular class is executed. So maybe I'm gonna do one more video on the life cycle of a class, so that that gives you more details. So as of now, just keep a note of this constructor will be triggered automatically as the initial execution of the screen. So super of props. So in this one, I'm gonna just create. So as this one is similar to this JavaScript one, it doesn't require to have a typecasting. It automatically considers based on the value that we are assigning. So it means we need not to be mentioned as a specific integer here. So that automatically auto typecasting this will be in the React Native. So yes, let me bind this my count. So let's see, this value is 0. If I make it 10, it's 10 value. So on click on a plus add button, I just wanted to increase my count, which will be my count plus 1. So but not sure, unfortunately my value is not getting updated still, even if I given a reference of this variable here. Let's verify. Console.log is help us to kind of a debug to verify the value while we are implementing. Verify count value, so which will be my count. Let's see. So here you can see the count variable is increasing, but unfortunately this render is content is not getting updated, the value which is updated here. So there are a couple of ways. One is we have an option of force update, which will be called like, or maybe you cannot directly write some log here inside of this return. Let's write some log here, console.log test render method. So first time it is getting called, and then when I press, it is just executing only this piece of thing. The render is not getting called again and again. That is where even the value has the 14th value, the same value is not getting updated here. So for this purpose, we have a couple of options. Among them, one of the option is force update. It means when I do a force update, automatically the render will be recalled again forcefully. It means the naming word itself that going to update the forcefully update the UI for this particular screen. So let's see, it's a 10, see 11, 12. So it means it is again calling the render method again, but this is not the actual process, this is not the correct one. So forcefully updating the values for each and everything is each and every execution is not a better idea. It means that gives you lack of performance. That means like we will be having a several operations. This is a basic one. So for all the operations we could not able to go and update forcefully the entire render process. So to make use of this process, we have a state concept. So this state concept will help us to dynamically update the values. Maybe sometimes this is the static value which we get declared here in the constructor, but when we go for the real time, we will be having the values getting from the APIs, and we will be having a values getting from the after some business logic. A lot of scenarios will be there. So for all these scenarios, we could not able to go and write some force update there. So instead, we will be having a state concept. So for those values who are getting dynamically from some business logics or maybe some APIs, some other cases, so we're gonna update, we're gonna bind that values to the state, and we're gonna update the state values from the APIs. Then those state values will get referred to the UI here. Then automatically UI will get updated. So this is one of the most advantages in the React Native. So let's look at how can we make use of a state. So similar way of declaring the variable, how we declared my count here, we should declare state variable instead of normal variable, which is, let me give a count as 0, similar to this one. Here we should make sure, we should careful about. So while we are mentioning the object of the state variable, that should be as a JSON object, that cannot be having a equal here. So that should be with the quotes like this one. If you wanted to create a more multiple object, one more my count 1 with a comma specified here, and just declare an object. So this may be a string, this may be a integer, this may be a float, whatever it is based on your requirement. So this is the initial declaration of the state object. Now let's get rid of this one, and while using this state object, instead of this direct one, we should make reference of state of my object. So that's it. So now I can able to make a reference of my state object here. So let me comment this one and remove this one as well. Now let's see whether I am getting the 10 or not. See, so this 10 which is declared in the state object get a reference to here. So it means previously I declared object as a direct one, my count, and this my count is the object which is declared in the state. And I can see here I can able to give a reference using the state object. Now what I'm going to do is the similar process of adding the +1 here while I click on the button. So I should update my state value which is declared, which is my count 1. So the way of updating the state is this dot set state. So this one. So this is the method. Within the method we should mention new braces as a JSON object. Here we should apply my count equals to, here will be the state variable, this dot state dot my count +1. So here whatever will be the business logic, maybe the +1 or -1 or something, or plus whatever it is, whatever the business logic is required. So likewise, and that's it. The value which is available inside of a state is getting updated. So let's verify this dot state dot my count. So now as we see, like the previous variable reference is we removed the previous general object, so that is where we have also removed the my count. So if you by mistakenly if you mention anywhere my count, that gonna lose the reference of the state object and will give you an error, because this gonna refers to the normal object, and here my count is an object of a state which is declared here. So this maybe you do not get confused, like here this is the value which we are assigning, and this is the object which is declared in the state. So for the value, what I'm going to do is I am getting the existing value of my count in the state and just increasing the values, and simply like perform the my business logic, whatever the business logic I needed. So let me see, the start state dot my count. Yes, here it should not be equal to, because this is the JSON object, so that has to be in the format of the quotes. So let's save. So if you see, first thing, test render method, one time it is called. So I haven't force updated. If you see, test render is automatically getting triggered. So if you see value 1, so the values is also getting updated. So the conclusion is like, whenever you wanted to refresh the UI, whenever you wanted to bind some dynamic values in the UI, so simply you can make a reference of a state of that particular object, and if you are updating the state object, automatically the render will be forcefully re-render the existing thing. So you need not to be refresh or reload the UI again. So if you just update the state value, that's it, that automatically does the required thing, and the UI will be refreshed and the required thing will be rendered in the UI. So I think, hope you guys understand this state one. This is the simplest process. Declaration here by declaring the values and making use of the existing state value and updating the state value. So that's it. So this is the basic funda for the usage of the state. So let's try with this basic one. So once you are familiar and making understanding of the state concept, then we gonna make use of functional state instead of this class object. And nowadays latest state concept is introduced of the hooks concept. So in the further videos, in the further classes, we're gonna make use of this functional component state object as well. Now, for now, let's understand actually uses of the state, how we gonna use, and how the state is getting updated, and how UI will be refreshed automatically. So that's all for this video. I think, hope you guys understand and like the video. So please let me know if you have any questions and mention in the comments. And if anybody still not yet subscribe the channel, subscribe the channel for more videos. We're gonna do a lot of videos using the in the React Native. So thank you guys. See you in the next video.